All right, cyber traders, welcome on back. Continuing along our week this Thursday, May 19th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Great to see all of our members alike inside Cyber Group. And if you're joining us once again on Facebook Live or YouTube, likewise, great to have all of us here. Great to have Leda and Patrick live here saying I'm loud and clear, good to go. Great to see, and great to see Kathleen as well. How about this? NURO getting halted right to begin this meeting. How about that? We ended up calling this out off the first bigger volume spike across this run as it was breaking above 435, namely the VWAP there. The last call out I made right before we started was at 2:24 Eastern Time. I wrote NORO above VWAP. And with the buying that came in prior to that, I was actually going to lead off by saying this day has been really a day full of chop, and not just within the stock market, but really like NORO here itself was also pretty choppy across most of the day. Had a little pop at first in pre-market, but it was up and down in this tight, tiny range. It was pretty discouraging at first, actually. So really refreshing to see this pop now, and we were anticipating a run once it ended up breaking above the VWAP. But damn, this thing just got halted right out the gate. So yes, Carol, the stock is currently halted. Asking live inside this trading room if it's currently halted. It's going to reopen up in about 5 or so minutes from right now. If it's not exactly 5 minutes from 2:31 13 seconds, it will be 10. So just keep your eye right there on the time and sales time that you could see. Add 5 minutes to that right there, and that should be the exact time in which this will reopen up. But let me ask for any one of us live inside the Cyber Group room. I know this was fast, and I know I was jumping on right as it was running up. But just out of curiosity, is anybody in this trade right now? Did anybody jump in as this was initially getting called out? I don't expect many to because it was so fast. So I'm just asking out of curiosity. Don't see anyone chatting back just yet, and that's all right. I mean, hey, let's try and react, though, from this point if no one's in it. We have to improvise. We have to react. And with that, when a stock breaks above resistance, let me ask, what does resistance normally turn into after a stock breaks above it and runs above it? Wendy, meanwhile, she was in from 470, got about 35 cents herself. Nice grab from Wendy there. Great. Resistance should turn into support. So that's our starting point. It's not going to be as cut and dry, not as easy as, just saying that, but that's where it will begin. So for right now, this breaking above resistance levels from the chart, from big iceberg orders, likely off of 480 and 5, look to see that get flipped into support here for NORO. Really quick, also just goes to show that we have traded this stock in the past. I remember this stock, not like the back of my hand, but pretty namely. Back in 2021, this stock ended up exploding for us back then. I know Fausto ended up talking about that when he was doing the meeting this morning, but it's just to show, hey, if this stock can make a fraction of the type of run that it made for us back in, mid last year, then we'll take it. That's a home run. That's a huge success. All right. Now, how about this? Normally, I would go right from top to bottom across the gainers and losers lists, but coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern time today for all of us, really alike inside the Cyber Group room. If you, are not trading, at least if you wanted to watch Fausto, and especially for all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, I want to post this link right here for all of us in the chat. And I'm going to show it here as well, just on the stream for today, coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Fausto is going to be live on Metastock's big trading conference right there. So, I posted that very link in the live chat for all of us joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube. Fausto is going to be doing an introductory to day trading type of webinar. Now, for all of us live inside the Cyber Group room, there you go. Post the same link for you right there. Now, we're going to be trading heading into the market close. A lot of us at least will. So, hey, if you wanted to listen into Fausto, I just wanted to post the link for all of us there. Again, for all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live, I'll just flash that one more time there. It's in the live chat anyway. But he'll be beginning his presentation coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern time. All right. All right, so folks, let's hop right to it. Talking about a day of chop, it's provided some really good opportunities. This is really the first real halt that I've seen today on NORO. I'm sure there's been a couple that we really haven't followed, but this is like the first one from our list halt-wise. There's been a couple of good pops, a couple of good drops and shorts, but really though, in between, it's been just so choppy here within the market. Looking at the SPY, I wasn't expecting a similar range as to what we had yesterday. see a SPY drop off from like 403, 404, all the way down to, sub 390. You're not expecting that range again today, but you're expecting at least a little bit bigger, something more concise, something more decisive than this, right? Up or down, either way. So, hopefully the close presents that opportunity. Hopefully the close presents a nice breakout higher, a little short covering here heading into the afternoon. NORO already on our list, number one to top off the gainer side here. But let's see what else we got. Actually, pretty surprised to see the VVPR trade still moving up. Ended up pushing up for us earlier. I'd called it out. And it's like one of those things. It's like unfortunate timing where, good call out, but the second you call it out, the thing just shakes right back down suddenly. So ended up doing that. And from there, I kind of wrote it off. So interesting to see this sling right back up actually shortly afterwards. This VVPR trade, I'm sure we've traded in the past, and I believe back from 2020 ended up popping for us back then. So the same on this as I just said on NORO, right? If this can make a fraction of the type of run it made for us back then, we'll take it. All right, keep it going. That was a well-timed water break. Let's see. IMAC, let's keep it going here. It's been a long day of talking with that in mind, too. So IMAC, more of a grinder heading into the afternoon. It's been just slowly grinding on the way up, at least across the early afternoon here. It had popped nicely in pre-market and moved on up a little bit after the open. Not so particular about this one just yet. So, I'll write it down, come back to it if we need to. But let's see what else we got here first. The grab trade, which earlier it wasn't showing on my screen. Looks like we're good to go now. But yeah, this was one of the better movers from earlier today. Popped up pretty nicely from 250, ran up beautifully. I mean, really the whole way through up towards the high of the day off 368, 370 here. And then, right now making a small little push, but not really doing anything compared to the morning. So, second win type of move, we'll call it, but for right now, we'll pass. Really quick, looks like the NORO trade just reopened up. So 5 minutes later, here we go. It only continued to push up so far, but let's see if we can get a shake down and then a slingshot right back on up after. That would be my hope. All right, we keep it going here, folks. IMMX, it made a really big drop down at first and, retracement back up. So a good slingshot in the making still here. A little flat right now, pretty spotty chart across the last 25, nearly 30 minutes. So, yeah, right now, not really too impressive. BTCM, same thing. Kind of just skim through. Up is this little pop here in the SPY. This is like the boy who cried wolf here. Looking for this slingshot. We ended up getting it really at first off the opening print on the SPY. Myself and Patrick were talking about that earlier in private chat, but it's been teasing this higher high since. And it looks like the SPY over the last few minutes at that is trying to make that push now. So hopefully we get a really good push here heading into the close, but let's see what else we got here on the gainer side here first. Michael talked about Novavax, and I'm just checking that now on the gainer side. So Mike said Novavax at the high of the day up almost 15%. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, this one definitely looking more interesting, more of a, trade for us here heading into the afternoon compared to what we've looked at so far. So yeah, definitely. Now, at this point, though, aside from just saying that, you got to assume resistance to be off of 60. It hasn't tested 60 yet, and you have nearly a 30,000 share iceberg order confirming that as resistance. So, look to see a false breakout, the first test of resistance here on this trade for the NVAX. All right, so you might have a few stocks like, they might be choppy, but perhaps at the highs, Shopify, pretty expensive, so we're not going to really focus on it here, but near the highs, getting a little push. KOD, this one's been a former runner for us in the past, not really as often, but we ended up doing really well for this on this stock back a year ago. A little push here this morning, but not a whole lot happening to it right now. DVAX, this one looks pretty good. Also a former runner for us in the past, so that's why I clicked it, right? I don't know how a lot of these charts look here when I do this meeting. I don't know how everything looks, at 2:30, so we got to skim through this DVAX trade. Hey, familiar name. I clicked on it. Why not? Looks great. Pushing up pretty nicely. Just smooth trends on the way up. Just don't get this confused with NVAX. You got NVAX and DVAX. Just while we're at it, I'm going to do VAX, VAXX. Nah, it's up 2.8%, but this one's not doing a whole lot. All right, so what else we got here, folks? Anything else on the gainer side to wrap up? And again, it looks like the SPY just chopping away, not really making that continued push. Man, it's been frustrating in that regard. I'm in one trade right now. It's on the short side. It doesn't follow the market right now, so I'm doing all right on it. We'll jump to it if we need to. It's actually on the gainer side here. Let's see. Oh, nope, not GDS here. Where is it? Just lost my spot. My scanner refreshed on me here. Jeez. It's up 13.26%, so I got to scroll down a bit. Right here, SIGA. So this, oh my goodness, what a short this was. I was calling out heading into the late morning, early afternoon. This should have resistance at 965. 965 in particular. Well, it broke above it. Broke above it by a few cents, but once it pulled back under it, once it broke through it on the way down, I ended up jumping in, and from there just ended up tailing off greatly. I mean, more than I ever thought it would in the time that it did. So, you scale out, you leave a little money on the table, you leave some shares in the position just to hang on. And that's where I'm at right now. But for the meantime, though, that was from 965. Doesn't always, work out that way in the sense of a really sharp drop instantly after. So that's certainly a gift, right? I'll say that to all of us here at times when there's a stock just trending perfectly in a direction. Not every stock does that. It's like a gift, right? It makes trading just that much easier. Well, this type of drop sure made it that much easier for me in this one. But that doesn't mean I'm going to put this on the watch list for the close. It's still very tradable. Listen, if you did well on this stock earlier yourself, then I'm sure you'll be more compelled to put it on your personal list. But, aside from saying that, at this stage, I don't know how much more this will continue to drop if it does. So, I'm managing the remaining parts of this trade. Just, if it ends up popping up above 850, I'll likely get stopped out. I have my stop set on this trade currently. So, right now, I'll keep it on the side list. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of just show that. Now, let's see what we have on the loser side for right now, seeing if there's anything looking, good in any direction, but more on the way down here at this point. Bunch of crap hard to borrow to top off the loser side. That leads me to Costco here. Cisco, Costco, Cisco. Get those confused. Cisco, CSCO here. Listen, folks, we don't care what the company does as long as we could follow big money on it. And in pre-market, that was exactly what we were kind of talking about, where, in pre-market, this ended up dropping off quite a bit off earnings, but the order book was really thin. There wasn't really much big money to follow on this stock at first, really. But it was moving up at first. Could have been a little dead cat bounce, but nonetheless, the point was that the order book was going to fill in a lot more after the market opened up, making it a lot more, tradable of a stock at least, right? So with that in mind, ended up continuing to pull back. I mean, really shortly after the open, a little slingshot at first, but then from there fell back down, made the type of drop off that the SIGA trade basically did, ended up continuing to drop off over time. Hey, right now, I could put it on our list. It's a lot closer to the lows than it is compared to the open, but if anything right now, it might just be more exhausted at this point in the day. It doesn't hurt us to put this on our watch list for right now. We have, 4 stocks on there so far. This would make it 5. So I'll do that, I guess. On this trade, if anything, I would really want to see a bigger breakdown coming up, momentarily, if anything. You have local support off of 41.25, but the bigger level will be right off of 41, which it hasn't even tested yet, by the way. Low of the day off 41.02. So I would look to see even a false breakout if it ends up getting to 41 initially, and then go from there. All right. Let's see anything else looking more like name brand here. You got Under Armour, UAA off of likely earnings. That's probably the only time that we end up seeing these stocks, on the losers lists here. Could be wrong with saying that. I'm just, that's my assumption. But again, kind of same deal. Like, I mean, they're tradable. I could put them on the list. These look a little bit more flat, if anything, compared to the Costco, Cisco. Jeez, I didn't even mean to do that. But, with Under Armour here, UAA, just either way, both of these just like relatively flatter. So, not really doing a whole lot on these for right now. All right, SKT. Tanger Outlets. How about that? I didn't know that. SKT is Tanger Outlets. They're at the lows. I like that part, right? They are shortable, so it makes it tradable. The order book relatively liquid, so we'll focus on this. Why not? SKT. See if this ends up continuing to pull back lower into the close. Little short covering coming in here, but more retail, if anything. I mean, all this is generally retail, so to say. But, really, if anything, we got to see this begin to snap down a little bit lower and then continue from there. All right, folks. I think that just about wraps it up for me here. I don't really see much else that looks like a familiar name or anything that has good volume, shortable, easy to borrow, I should say. So if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5% that you'd want me to look at or check out, just type it in the chat board here. Just let me know. Question from Trinia on YouTube really quickly first. What scanner do I use? So these are like, just the percent gainers and losers lists from my platform. In terms of how we scan the market, we talk about that thoroughly throughout the phase 1 stock course that we have really quickly. Quick plug time for all of us live inside the Cyber Group room. That'll be coming up next week, actually, coming up on Monday live. We'll be doing the live phase 1 stock course again. So, just brace yourself for that. But, with scanning the market, we use the percent gainers and losers lists from our scanners, from our platform. And then otherwise, I also use Benzinga Pro, which is like a premium paid service that I have. All right. So how about this? I don't see anything else from the trading room side of things. I don't see anything else on YouTube or Facebook Live for right now. And that's all right. We don't need to force anything on our watch list. Again, it's been a chop fest all day. It looks like the markets are like grinding on up, eking back up a tiny amount. So not a whole lot truly happening, it seems. The IMMX is one that I don't think we have on our watch list right now. I said I'd kind of come back to it at the end if I need to. I actually see it popping up a little bit more over the last 5 or so minutes from my Benzinga Pro scanner. So looking at it here, does it hurt us to put the IMMX on the list here, folks? It doesn't. So, for right now, it's at the highs. I'll definitely respect that. Hopefully, this ends up making, a sharper push, more volume pouring into this trade heading into the close. The IMAC stock here on the other side of things, just kind of dragging back down. Not a whole lot happening now at this point for this one. How about maybe lastly here, just because I saw this pop up also on my Benzinga scanner here as well. TAL, I forgot about TAL. It's actually up nearly 13%. It's just been so flat here. I mean, really the last 2.5 hours. So if you're in the market for watching the grass grow, watching the paint dry, then this is perfect for you. The fact that this is at the highs here is the only reason I'm going to put this on our list. Just more hopeful than anything heading into like 3:30 time frame. We see like a bigger push, a lot more volume coming into this trade, hopefully. But again, like just look at the trend. I mean, it's at the highs, but it looks like a buyout almost, right? I don't believe it is. So we're going to put it on our watch list with that in mind, but it's just so slow. All right, folks. So I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap it up for right now. I'm going to be actually really quick housekeeping note for all of us live inside the Cyber Group room. I better refresh my water bottle here because little switch here for the afternoon. I'm going to be back on the mic coming up at 3 o'clock myself. I have an eye doctor's appointment at 4 o'clock, so I got to step out a bit earlier than usual, and I didn't want to leave anyone hanging today. So nonetheless, at least, for this close, I'll be back on at 3 o'clock. Then Rich is going to tag me out at 3:30. All right. For all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. Again, last call though for Fausto. If you wanted to tune in for the Metastock Traders Conference here, make sure that you go right to the link that I posted inside the live chat board on YouTube. I just posted the link there for all of us just watching the stream as well. But it's in the chat right there. And then if you have any other questions, feel more than free to send on over an email, josh@c2trading.com. I always like to post that here as well at the end of these streams. And then if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, whether you wanted to join us today, tomorrow, or even to begin for next week. Just go right down to the link on the blue banner below right there to get yourself started. All right, but again, I will be back on, folks, for Grant, for Leda, Michael, and Robert, and all of us live here inside the trading room, coming up right at 3 o'clock Eastern. Talk to you soon.
Become a Cyber Group member today. Just click the link below and receive all these amazing products and a world of knowledge for just $9.